Good evening. On behalf of the governing body of the City of Passaic, we welcome you to the January 7th, 2025 City Council meeting. In accordance with Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, adequate notice of this meeting was provided by resolution of the Municipal Council adopted on June 18th, 2024, setting forth the schedule of regular meetings for the year 2024-2025. Said notice was published and posted on the City of Passaic Bulletin Board by the Office of the City Clerk. Please be further advised, this meeting will be conducted in person. The Zoom stream provided is for viewing only and is offered to the public as a convenience. On December 18th, 2024, public notice and instructions for this Zoom meeting were published in the Herald News and posted on the City of Passaic website at www.cityofpassaic.com, council agendas. Instructions are also available on the last page of this agenda. Please be guided accordingly.
Roll call, please, ma'am.
Councilwoman Mello?
Present.
Councilman Schwartz?
Present.
Councilman Garcia?
Present.
Councilwoman Colon Montañez?
Present.
Councilman Love?
Present.
And Council President Scheer.
Present. Should we all please rise?
Father God, we want to thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be present this evening. Lord, we ask you to please guide us in the decisions that will take place this evening. In your beloved name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council President, if I may, if I can just ask for a moment of silence in acknowledgement of the loss of former President Jimmy Carter. And we recently had the loss of a resident in a fire here in the city of Passaic.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
As the council will note, we had originally scheduled the Passaic Valley Water to be with us tonight to share with us information about that agency, which is 1/3 approximately owned by the city of Passaic, as well as the cities of Patterson and Clifton. They had asked that we move the date to our next meeting, and with the council's permission, we did proceed to that. We are on our agenda. If you don't have an agenda, you can access it through the internet at the City of Passaic's website. There you will find all the information that the council has received in terms of ordinances, communications, resolutions, and other information. What is available to you is exactly what has been provided to the council by the administration, which we thank for their efforts in that sense. We are up to Roman numeral 4 on our agenda, Mayor's update. Mr. Mayor, it's so wonderful to see you.
Thank you, Council President. As I mentioned earlier, and we acknowledged the loss within our city, we had an unfortunate loss of a resident due to a fire that occurred on New Year's Eve, where 25 apartments were affected. And obviously our firefighters in the city of Passaic, including Mutual Aid that came in from Bergen and Passaic County, assisted. And through the hard work of our fire chief, of our human services, of our OEM, we were able to get the residents back into the building. That was the evening of New Year's Eve. We went right into the piñata drop ceremony into the city, where we had so many residents come despite the weather and the rain. It got filled on Main Avenue. There were many children and families in this tradition that has now gone on for 7 years and was noted throughout news channels, as well as different media, has become something that many residents expect. And so it was a difficult evening, but one also of celebration and of coming together of families. So again, I wanted to share that. And with that stated, today we had a fire. We had a fire on Lafayette at 452 Lafayette, a two-family structure. But by God's grace, and I had mentioned earlier about the loss of life, we did not have any loss in this fire. We had firefighters again respond from Bergen and Passaic County. I cannot highlight enough the appreciation, the admiration that I have for firefighters, for police, for first responders. Our police arrived immediately sometime around 4:30, a 3-alarm fire, to find 2 children out the window. And they were able to ensure that the children, the parents, and the families are out safe. Right now, presently, while we're in these council chambers, we have over 15 individuals at our rec center right here in City Hall. I want to thank the Red Cross that is with us to assist with relocation efforts, our human services. Judith Sanchez arrived with coffee and donuts for the families. Obviously, they have lost so many material things, valuable, sentimental things, but all those material things can be replaced. And we all know that life cannot. It is sacred. And again, I'll reiterate that I'm so thankful that we did not have loss of life. We had one injury that occurred with a firefighter afterwards. It was a result of the extreme weather conditions. The water turned to ice immediately in terms of combating the fire, as you know, extreme frigid temperatures outside. But that firefighter's in the ER. They've been seen and they'll be going home, so they're fine. We keep them, him and the families in prayers. We will continue to work with the families to ensure that we can assist them, facilitate any application or process to ensure that they are, to the best of our abilities, I can't say made whole. When you lose everything, there are things that cannot be replaced, but that they would find themselves in a position where they once again have roofs over their head and they're secure. Of course, it's children are still in school. We have 5 children there. So there are uniforms, there are book bags. There's a lot that we can do, but so much that we depend on the community. I did want to share on a much lighter note. Today was the launch of our first free shuttle service around the city of Passaic. We demonstrated it live today with the department heads. It is a free shuttle that travels around the city to every ward. It goes from Passaic, right here on Passaic Street, down to Market Street, up Monroe Street, all the way to past Myrtle Avenue to Paulison. It goes up to Passaic Avenue, past Van Houten, the train station, down Brook Avenue, back down Main Avenue, and then all the way back up here to City Hall. We're extremely excited as it expands opportunity for connectivity around the city. And this free shuttle allows you to connect from the train station to different bus stops around the city. It helps residents and those who work or visit our city enjoy our amenities, whether the park or support our local businesses going down Market Street, Monroe Street, and Main Ave, or as me and the business administrator like to call them, the 3 big M's, Monroe, Main, and Market Street, but also Broadway and Lexington. So many of the business owners are excited. Directly, it assists our senior citizen population, as well as those who can't afford transportation, those who may not own vehicles or don't always have the money to jump on a bus. It's exclusively staying within the city of Passaic. We tell people it goes all the way down to Wall Street and Broadway, but not New York, Wall Street or Broadway. We have our own Wall Street here. I believe Council President is an expert at both of those Wall Streets, the one in the financial district and the one here, and also Broadway. They get to visit our eateries on Broadway. It also allows for individuals who come out of school, the high school kids or some of our middle school kids, to jump on the free shuttle right after class, as it runs Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So they may be able to go from the Forsman Library, jump on to the free shuttle, make it back to Market Street, grab something to eat, and then go back to study. That's our goal with our students, to have them study, eat, and then get back to studying. But again, the free shuttle runs around continuously throughout the city. And again, we're extremely excited. We're going to explore the opportunity of growing this. It's funded through our UEZ. As we sit down every year, we come up with different ideas of how we can best utilize funds to enhance the quality of life for our residents and provide services, especially for those in the greatest need, while ensuring that we support our local businesses. And this route goes through our UEZ zones. So we're very excited. We have 2 buses right now. The capacity in each one is 24. It's welcome to all, unless you're the 25th person. Then you have to wait for the second bus, and then the second bus welcomes you. But today we were exploring some additional stops, Council President, members of the City Council, potentially by the dog park, as well as Midway on Main Ave. We want to make sure that we maximize the opportunities. And again, I reiterate, it's free to anyone to utilize. We're also exploring in the future a potential to work with the county and have one that goes from Clifton, Patterson, and Passaic for free, going back and forth. And I thank our council president who's been instrumental in those conversations, as well as our business administrator and the administrator of the county, because this effort, though we are excited to launch it, seems to be something that got everyone else excited and they want to get on board. The pun is intended, it's just not a good one.
We got it.
The jokes will only get worse as the new year goes on. But again, I'm extremely excited about this new launch because it means so much to our community. And then if you look right across the street, our parking deck is really moving along. We have already put the first 2 levels on. The pieces are coming in as it's a prefab, and it's coming together. It's 300 new parking spaces available for the community, in addition with all of the parking lots that we've been able to identify around the city and we were able to create in order to provide more parking. In what has recently been, I think we were at one time the 5th most densely populated city in the United States. We may have moved up 1 or 2, maybe we're at 8. But when juxtaposed to municipalities of 50,000 or more, we're the 5th most densely populated in 3.2 square miles. The opportunities to create additional parking means a lot. And I want to thank the efforts and the cooperation and collaboration of this council, my administration, everyone who's working so hard to ensure that we could provide greater services for the residents in this city. So it's been quite a week with ups and downs, losses and reasons for celebration. But in a city like ours, that's what happens, but we continue together and we're optimistic and excited about all the good things in store for us in the future. Mr. Business Administrator, is there anything that I'm missing? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Council President.
On the contrary, Mayor, thank you. Thank you for the many initiatives that were taken. The New Year's celebration, I believe all of my colleagues were there as well. It was an absolutely sensational event, despite its having come at the time when it did. Very important question, Mr. Mayor. With the temperature being as cold as it is, the buses are heated.
Council President, the buses are heated, to the elation of Francine Wise, who said that that was the only condition she would jump on the bus initially. But no, they are heated, and they're also handicap accessible. I think that's an important point. Thank you for reminding me of what's included on the bus. We ensure that every individual, to the best of our ability, has the opportunity to enjoy this free service around the city.
Excellent. Any questions?
Yeah, just one addition. The hours, Mr. Mayor.
The hours right now are 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. We have an app. There's a QR code on the bus and on all of the bus stops, Councilman, and whoever looks at the QR code, you can put it on your phone. It gives you the exact route and time. One of the additional features I think is exciting is that you can see up to the minute when it's coming and where it is. So if you're at a business and you want to get a coffee or a donut or as Business Administrator Fernandez said, a snack, whether one that you eat or otherwise, if you're single, some people will get that from the live. You're able to take some time and then schedule it for the bus pickup. So it's from 10 a.m. until 6:30. The reason why 10 a.m. is that's when most of the businesses are open. And since it's in our UEZ zone, we want to ensure that individuals can travel to our business, our different eateries, our retail stores until 6:30. And that gives enough time after work, after school for people to enjoy. In the future, we want to explore the potential for the weekend, but as we're beginning and we're going to assess and see and gather data, we're going to see how we can improve, enhance, or perhaps change. But we were very excited with the launch today. It went extremely smooth around the city.
And there's information online as well.
There's information online on our website. You can download the app. The app is called Passaic Go. Passaic Go. Just like you're spelling Passaic, P-A-S-S, but instead of the A-I-C, it's I-O, Passaic, which means traveling, and go, which literally means go. That's all it means. I have nothing clever for that. I'm sorry. But Passaic Go, and you download the app, and it gives you all of the routes and the days. So right now, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m.
Any other questions for the mayor? With the council's permission. We're on Roman numeral 5 of our agenda, hearing of citizens. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-1, the council opens every public meeting for comments of the public. However, in accordance with NJSA 10:4-12, Nothing in this act shall be construed to limit the discretion of a public body to permit, prohibit, or regulate the active participation at any meeting. Therefore, please be advised that the council will not entertain any comments from persons who communicate obscene material, make statements which are considered bias, intimidation, in which a person intends to intimidate any individual or group because of race, color, religion, gender, handicap, sexual orientation, or ethnicity, or makes comments intending to harass or speak any offensive language. The person who makes these statements will relinquish their allotted 5 minutes for public discussion. Is there anyone who would like to address the council?
Hello, everyone. My name is Itamar. I would like to talk to you about the proposed rent control. Okay, sorry about that. I would like to talk to you today about the proposed rent control ordinance. I am a tenant and a resident of Passaic for 38 years. I moved into my unit in 2002. Therefore, I'm not protected by the current rent control law. My landlord purchased the property on December 13th. On December 17th, my landlord sent me an email raising my rent $300 effective January 1st. Without a valid reason, he did it to other apartments. There's 16 apartments where I live. Some of them do fall under the current rent control law. Most of us don't. I tried to negotiate by sending him an email because at this time it is hard to just come up with an extra $300 a month, whether it's January 1st or February 1st, because he shouldn't have raised it for January 1st. The apartment has not been upgraded in the 22 years that I've lived there. There has been no upgrade to the bathroom, the kitchen. It's livable, but it's not fair market. He's never going to get fair market rate the way it looks. I just wanted to let you know, I know there was some hiccups about whether you should pass it or not. In New Jersey, there are currently 117 municipalities that have enacted rent control. I am the rent control administrator for a municipality in New Jersey. Their ordinance allows for a 4% rent increase, not an 8%. And seniors 65 or over, their rent can only be raised 2.5%. There's a fee. There's a registration fee for units. There's a application fee for capital improvements. There's an application fee for a hardship application. There's an application fee for a vacancy allowance application, which is only allowed every 5 years. So what the mayor is proposing, I think, is more than fair. While I may not agree with the 8% annually for 6 years, because the average person does not get a raise in their salary of 8% every year, or their social security income doesn't go up 8% every year, I believe that something is better than nothing, and what you're proposing is fair and acceptable. And if my landlord was willing to negotiate and speak back to me instead of threatening with court eviction, I would have probably gave him the $300 had he said, let me upgrade these things in your unit. But instead of coming at me with the offer I gave him, he just denied it and said, well, we'll just see each other in eviction court. So with all that being said, I've been dealing with this since Thanksgiving. I'm glad that the ordinance was heard and it wasn't tabled at the last meeting. And I'm hoping today you would consider it and pass it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Forgive me, ma'am, for just you had mentioned your name. I didn't get it.
My name is Itamar, Itamar, Roman, Roman. Oh, and quick shout out to the R&R advisors who've been putting up with me for the past for the past month, because they've been great in explaining the current ordinance and dealing with giving me information on reaching out to legal services. Thank you.
You'll forgive me. The reason I specifically asked is I believe you had shared with members of the council a copy of your resume.
Oh, yes, I did. Oh, okay. I didn't want to mention it.
I just want to get clarity and an interest to serve on our soon-to-be, we think, rent control board.
Sure. I definitely would be.
From your resume, I gather that you are, from May 2022 to the present, the rent control administrator.
Yes.
In Montclair.
I established the office. It actually became effective in May of 2022, and I established the office from, basically, they said, here's a 20-page ordinance, create an office. So I did everything from the forms to help with the board. We have 7 board members, 2 alternates, so it's 9 altogether. We do 3 mandatory meetings a year. I do the minutes, the agendas. Pretty much some of them are virtual, some of them are there. I prepare special meetings. We've only had 1 capital improvement application. We've had maybe 2 complaints go in front of them. Because their ordinance is a little different than this one, but yeah.
And it's working in Montclair.
It's working. I mean, yeah, it's working. I got, in the beginning, like with anything that happens, but real estate is booming in Montclair. I don't see it going down. Apartments are being rented, vacancy allowance applications are being submitted. I noticed that tenants are scared, and when I do speak to them and give them the right to, I don't think tenants realize they can be a little bit of a bully sometimes when they just automatically say, well, court. And people get scared going to court. I'm not scared because I've worked around plenty of attorneys and it's okay for me to, it's a person to me. And let me just speak, let's negotiate. You want something that I have and I'm willing to pay for that service. But some people get scared and, they don't know English. They don't know the language. Like one of my neighbors, she doesn't speak English. So we were talking and she's like, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm going to the council meeting today. Because, she's like, well, let me know what happened. So the only one I was able to bring was my other neighbor. She's lived there 50 years. And she falls under the 1999 rent control ordinance, but she's here in support.
Good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for your time.
You independently submitted your resume to the city clerk?
Yes, I did.
Very good.
Yes, I did.
And just for clarity's sake, it was as an expert, as a landlord, as a tenant?
As a tenant, as an expert, I mean, I've worked in Section 8, so I guess I would qualify under, I still help that office part-time in the city I work in. I don't know if you want me to say where I work, but I work at the manager's office in the law department. I help that Section 8 office part-time, and then I do the rent control administration as well.
Good deal. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Councilman?
Yeah, I just have one question, if I may. Do you have a lease with your landlord?
No, he's month to month.
Why, is that so he won't give a lease? He
Well,
only rent lease?
the landlord that owned the building for many, many years passed away. So his daughter managed it, he owned it. They both passed away within 3 days of each other. So about a year ago, when the heirs took over, they finally decided to sell the building. We received leases in November. I didn't sign the lease. I didn't even review it because if you haven't closed on the building, why am I even entertaining a lease? I emailed the current owner at the time and I said, I got this lease, but you haven't sold the building yet. She never answered me. I emailed him and I said, hey, you're in the process of purchasing this building. When is the closing? What's going on? He never answered. So now I got a slew of email threats and no one's answering me. Came December 13th, the building's purchased. I got a call. I gave them my email address. All I get is a statement in the email saying, hey, your rent's now $1,700. It's $300 more. And I said, okay. I emailed back. I said, I'll give you CPI. Well, you don't fall under rent control. The previous landlord, she always raised the rent every year, whether it was CPI or the $25, she worked with us. So she has raised the rent every 12 months.
Okay.
And then all he said was, it's 300 or nothing.
Fine, no, I appreciate it. I just wanted clarity because, usually there are leases in place. So the landlord can't just say, okay, next week I'm raising you $300, right? So if there's a lease, at least
Yeah,
a
no.
person's protected for 12 months, 15 months, 18 months, whatever it is. So I was just curious how you can just tell you, okay, you know what, next week I'm just raising.
It was supposed to
$300.
be raised in August because she does it every 12 months. But because of the whole passing away and the property
Understood.
being for
Okay.
sale, they didn't raise it
Okay,
in
thank you.
August.
Thank you for the clarity.
With the council's permission, I'd like to include Ms. Roman's resume with the other 3 resumes that we've received in terms of consideration by this council this evening or not, at its pleasure. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council at this time?
Joe Conoscenti. Good evening, Happy New Year to everybody. Council President, my first question is, back in 2024, I gave a list of things that I've seen and witnessed to have done. And as of hopefully 2025, they could be all taken care of. My first one is Irving Place, the illegal one side of the street parking. Brought it up many times. There's a study being looked into, and that's all I got the whole year. Bus stops, the parking in bus stops, the same routine. Doing a study, looking into it. Blocking crosswalks and the double parking. So they started the thing with the double parking, but they only come out in the morning. What about the rest of the day? Or come back around and you see the same cars again. We have a big problem with double parking and all these violations that's there. We got 5 tow trucks, tow companies. Maybe you should bring back towing cars again, like they did before. And maybe we won't have all these problems. Because it seems like nothing is working. An officer goes with a double parked car and he's on a horn, blowing a horn. Give him a ticket. He shouldn't be there. It's a violation. My next question is Passaic Avenue and Van Houten, the underpass. One side of the underpass has lights and the other side don't have no lights. So I don't know. Maybe that could be looked into this year, maybe get that straightened out. And go back to 147, 149 Broadway. Last year, there's so many things going on with this property. It was sold. They took over the florist now next door. That's another building. So there's 3 buildings. And I don't know if it's still under the owner or they're going to get a new owner or what's going on. There's garbage, trash, everything all over this property. It's terrible. Part of the building's coming down in the front. In the back, the porches are coming down. The place should be knocked down already. Something got to be done with this landlord. I know he's supposed to be in court, but I don't know if he's ever going to go to court because if you knock the buildings down, what's the sense of going to court? So whatever happens there. Going to New Year's Eve, 361 Madison Street, the fire they had there, which was a tragedy. The problem is, during this fire, they had no alarms. I don't know if this building is under investigation or what's happening here. And this landlord throughout the city, I'm sure you must know who he is. He's a slumlord. He's getting in the way with a lot of his property under violations, under city and state violations. He's getting away with it. I don't understand why. But, this stuff should be looked into. If the buildings are not livable, shut them down. That's it. Get rid of this guy. My last question is, this shuttle bus. It might be a good thing for some people, but we have senior buses, we got county buses, we have people's insurance, they can get transportation all free. We got Jersey Transit, we got mini buses. I mean, what now with this bus, you're taking away a parking space. Wherever they're going to park, wherever they got to stop, you're taking a parking space. So now less cars to park. So I don't see the purpose of this bus. It's terrible. Too many buses. You're only 3.2 miles. How many buses you need? Nuts. These are my questions. Hope I get answers.
Well, I appreciate you being here. Appreciate your reminding us of the concerns that you have and so many other people have as well. Double parking is an ongoing problem. The police officers do move the cars along as they need to be moved. There is just so much that one can do because obviously there are other concerns that the city faces on a day-by-day basis. In terms of the double parking, I will understand your concerns. And the concerns, frankly, of every municipality that I've spoken to, and that's a lot, and I know the mayor and the BA, as well as my colleagues on the council, have explored this throughout.
Start towing them.
Excuse me, sir, I'm responding to your comments.
Well, it's all legal spin.
No, no, sir, this is not a give and take. It's me responding to your comments. In terms of the Van Houten underpass, Mr. Fernandez, we're redoing that, aren't we?
Yeah, so actually, this opens up a beautiful thing that we're in the process of doing. We received $5 million from the Department of Environmental Protection to redo that whole section and build a pump station that will pump the water up out into a retention system. So we are currently working with the Department of Environmental Protection. So it wouldn't be financially sound to start spending money in that area when we're going to redo that whole section down there. But we did receive over $5 million. We're excited about the projects. We're now working with the state of New Jersey, DEP, to figure out the best approach to get the project funded and moving forward.
There's some additional renovations that will occur, and obviously we're going to ensure to coordinate with this particular work, but we are adding lights, as was mentioned. One half does have lights. There was a time where they were both out, so we got that working, but we are looking to add additional lights. We're just going to coordinate to maximize, because if we start working, it has to stop, as the BA is stating, because of this more involved project, and that wouldn't be wise.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Fernandez, I wonder, we have too many buses in the city of Passaic?
So just to respond to one of Mr. Condescendi's comments, they are not free. So the majority of the things he just said are not free, like the New Jersey Transit Bus and the rideshare programs. And the paratransit buses that are free are for seniors only. And so it's a very particular segment for a very particular purpose. This is much needed within the city of Passaic for those individuals that do not have vehicles to get around.
Which is the vast majority, correct?
That is correct. We have one of the lowest car ownerships in the state of New Jersey, if not the lowest car ownership, as well as getting access to just traverse the city. We want to encourage individuals to come to all parts of our city and visit our commercial districts. And with a free bus, you can literally park your car at the beautiful 300 space parking deck the mayor was just talking about, and really go to every single major park of the city of Passaic and the business districts that surround them, all for free within one day. You can make an adventure of traveling the city of Passaic, Mayor.
Which obviously, and I'll dovetail off that, may reduce congestion and parking issues if individuals are going to take that shuttle bus. Imagine 24 individuals on the shuttle bus instead of them driving vehicles. But again, this is more for individuals who may not have access. In regards to the issues of parking, Council President, they will be parked on our property, so they won't take up parking on the street. They stop at designated bus stops. So it actually goes to the gentleman's comment. They won't be taking up parking space on the street. They'll be on bus stops. People shouldn't park anyway. And then, if I may, and you indulge me, 2025, I've decided to focus on the positive and the glass half full. I just want to point out that before he said it was terrible, he said it could be a good thing. And that's the part that I heard. He said this could be a good thing. So for a year of optimism, I'll focus on that part.
Mr. Fernandez, I'm driving around, I'm walking on the sidewalks, and I see a property where there's refuse and garbage and trash. What do I do? Trying to be a good
You're free to
citizen.
call the code enforcement department. We'll send our inspectors there, property maintenance, to do that. And on that note, I just want to say there were some disingenuous statements because Mr. Condescendi has come for that same property multiple times. And not once has he said the multiple times that we have actually abated the situation to the point where we went from wood, shoring up the building with wood, to using metal panels after one of his council meetings. So I just want to just express that every time that he's at a council meeting, we send inspectors, and there has been changes. This is part of a redevelopment project. And as we all know, redevelopment projects take a little bit longer than your normal run-of-the-mill development projects. As Mr. Condescendi stated himself, they were collecting other properties to make a more viable project than the original one. Just to remind the council, the original project, if they would have demolished it, would have had no parking. Now that they have this new building next door, the project will be able to encompass parking, which is why the mayor promoted that project and the council approved it, just to refresh everybody's recollection.
So at the end of the year, when usually one tries to look at all the things that have happened, both good and bad. We're a little bit late. It's January. How were we last year from your point of view? You preceded, no, you haven't preceded everyone here, but you preceded most people here.
So I have to say that it's been one of the most successful years that I've ever seen in the city of Passaic. And not only that, overcoming a pandemic, which is one of the first in its recent past that has ever been overcome. Even with all those trials and tribulations through this mayor's administration and the city council, there's been changes unlike any other in any time in the past. I mean, Mayor, I think when you were talking to Mayor Goldberg, the last time there was any massive impact like that was when they removed the train tracks back in the 60s, right? Like, if you put it in perspective, a municipally sponsored parking deck for 300 units of spaces, I mean.
Good deal. Thank you. Anyone else like to address the council at this time?
You didn't answer the last one.
Well,
Well, too bad,
we're
right?
going to have to wait until next time, I guess. Anyone else like to address the council? Yes, sir.
Edwin Garcia, 65 Blaine Street. I just wanted to share really quickly about my appreciation for this new bus route. I currently hold the title of assistant principal at Passaic High School. And while I'm not here to talk on behalf of the school, I can share from experience and from knowing my students that they will enjoy being able to, especially with the upcoming school, we're going to be located at the moment at 3 places. One is school 8, 9, and 21. It'll help us stay interconnected, which is part of our plan, making sure that we stay as one high school and keep our kids together as best we can. I'm pretty sure that they will enjoy days like this, that it was frigid, being able to take a ride on the bus and get to the different locations. And on that point, I think it'll also help when it comes to some of the parents. So, and what I mean by that is that I have done studies through my education, my personal education, on barriers to parent engagement. And part of it is parents not having transportation to get to specific locations like the schools, especially we're going to be in multiple locations. This will give more access to some of our parents to be able to get to the school, to participate in different events, whether it's a parent meeting or if they have concerns and they want to talk about something with their kid, to provide support, some of the evening things. So I appreciate this, and I hope that there are opportunities to expand this. I hope it goes well, and I look forward to an optimistic year too.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else like to address the council?
Seeing no hands, move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion and second to close public hearing. Roll call, please.
Councilman Monk?
Yes.
Councilman Love?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello?
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz?
Yes.
Councilman Garcia?
Yes.
Councilwoman Colon Montañez?
Yes.
And Council President Scher.
Yes, thank you. We're up to Roman numeral 6 of our agenda, ordinance for second and final readings. Hearing is required. Number 1, proposed ordinance 2473-24, an ordinance amending the designation of restricted parking for disabled persons by New Jersey license plate number, introduced at the December 5 council meeting. Is there a motion, please, to open public comment?
So move it.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Roll call.
Councilman Monk?
Yes.
Councilman Love?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello?
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz?
Yes.
Councilman Garcia?
Yes.
Councilwoman Colon Montañez?
Yes.
And Council President Scher.
Yes, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the council will be deliberating proposed ordinance 2473. Is there anyone who would like to address the council on this item and this item only?
Seeing no hands, I move to close the public portion.
There's a motion to close. Is there a second? There is a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Monk?
Yes.
Councilman Love?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello?
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz?
Yes.
Councilman Garcia?
Yes.
Councilwoman Colon Montañez?
Yes.
And Council President Scher.
Yes, thank you. On the ordinance, is there a maker?
So move.
Second.
Motion and second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Monk?
Yes.
Councilman Love?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello?
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz?
Yes.
Councilman Garcia?
Yes.
Councilwoman Colon Montañez?
Yes.
And Council President Scher.
Yes, thank you. The ordinance passes. We're up to proposed ordinance number 2474-24, an ordinance amending chapter 231, rent control, to chapter 231, rent stabilization, amending the section of and adding section 23, Rent Stabilization Act of 2025, of the City of Passaic Code. Mr. Fernandez, can you help us with this, please? What are we looking at?
Yes, Council President, so this is an ordinance of much discussion. This amends our current pre-1999 ordinance for rent control and would set a standard for rental units moving forward within the city of Passaic. One of the mayor's clear directions was to provide affordability and equity for all our tenants and landlords. And what you have before you is an extremely balanced ordinance that addresses the needs of not only the landlords, taxpayers, but most importantly of our tenants that really, especially coming off of the pandemic and all these increases in the economy, we're feeling the pressure, and this would help alleviate some of that pressure and keeping people in their homes. Mayor, did that summarize it accurately?
Appreciating your comments. Councilman Schwartz, I know that you took a special interest on this, and I wonder if you could share with our colleagues your thoughts.
I think that this is a good ordinance. It addresses some of the significant problems in the city of Passaic. We may do some further revisions on it, but in concept, it does present a fairer playing field for the tenants and protects them from just that particular case where you have a building which flipped to new ownership. They don't really care about the current tenants and they're pushing in unreasonable rent increases. There was a lot of thought that went into this. And I think that it is beneficial for the city at this time to pass this ordinance.
Thank you, sir. It is my understanding as council president that the ordinance which is being presented tonight for second and final reading will be accompanied by another ordinance at the end of this meeting for first reading to be then concluded at our next meeting as well, which will encompass all of the points agreed upon. Is that the correct?
So my understanding is that that amendment would come at the next meeting for first reading. So that
Not tonight.
your statement is correct, with the exception of it would be for first reading at the next council meeting. That way, the council has an opportunity to digest what the change is based on the discussions, and then we can move forward from there. So the statement of the amendment is accurate, but that'll be coming at the next council meeting. Mayor, is that?
What I'm trying to avoid is the possibility that that one ordinance will pass and the second ordinance will not pass. Are we assured of support from the council and from the administration that we will go forward as stated?
You have the commitment of the administration that it will definitely be on for the next meeting. In regards to conversations with the council, of course, I defer that to the council president and the members of the council. But I do understand that there is a desire to have that ordinance on in the second meeting or the meeting following this one of the new year, and that will be the case.
I want to commend the administration, and I commend Councilman Schwartz especially, as well as all members of this council. This is an extraordinary move forward, meeting the needs of both our residents and tenants, as well as homeowners and businesses and the rest. It was a tremendous step forward for the administration to initially propose, and an even greater one as the administration sought and as this council sought to have an ordinance which reflected all points of view and was indeed, as, if I may quote Mr. Fernandez, as fair and equitable as possible. And it seems that we have achieved that thanks to all concerned. That being the case, is there a second, please, to open public discussion?
Second.
Motion and second, roll call, please.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilwoman Colom Montañez,
Yes.
and Council President Shear.
Yes, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the council will be deliberating proposed ordinance 2474-24, an ordinance amending Chapter 231 rent control of the city of Passaic. Is there a motion, please, to open public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second to open public hearing. Roll call, please.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz.
Yes.
Councilman Garcia.
Yes.
Councilwoman Colom Montañez.
Yes.
And Council President Shear.
Yes, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the council will be deliberating proposed ordinance 2474. Is there anyone who would like to address the council on this item and this item only? Yes, sir.
Edwin Garcia, 65 Blaine Street. As I stated before, I have students that I speak to and look after, and this ordinance affects them directly. I listened to the last meeting via YouTube, and I heard everybody's comments and questions, and I appreciate this being put forward because I, on many cases, have seen situations where this has affected our students negatively, a rent increase, where sometimes the families come to us not knowing whether they're going to put food on the table because it's a place to live or somewhere to eat. So I appreciate everybody's comments on this. I appreciate the work that was put into this. You'd be surprised at how much this situation comes up in many of their lives. And I just want to commend everybody because this is what good government looks like. People discuss, they ask questions, and they look out for everybody. So that's all my comments for this. As this is going forward, I believe that it's a good ordinance. I don't know what the amendments look like, but I look forward to looking at them later on. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who would like to address the council on this item and this item only?
Seeing no hands, move to close the public hearing.
Second.
There's a motion, there's a second to close. Roll call to close.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz.
Yes.
Councilman Garcia.
Yes.
Councilwoman Colom Montañez.
Yes.
And Council President Shear.
Yes, thank you. I have a light on, please.
Yes, thank you, Council
Councilman
President.
Monk.
I just want to echo Council President's statement earlier. This is an ordinance that typically is hard to get everyone on the same page, because there's so many different thoughts of where things should be, right? And there's the tenant, there's the landlord, there's also the city itself, right? In terms of there are cities where sometimes they put things in control where they hurt development, they hurt growth, that which benefits everyone as well. And it's very clear from this ordinance that the administration gave it a lot of thought to find the right balance. And I'd just like to commend the mayor and our business administrator for making it very apparent that this wasn't just an ordinance, just, put in AI, tell AI, shoot out an ordinance, This is clearly every part of it was thought out, and a lot of effort must have been put into it. So appreciate that.
Councilman, if I may, I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge Chris Rodriguez, our attorney for our rent leveling board, this rent stabilization ordinance, as well as the work of Susie Burns, who's our attorney and the business administrator. We had many conversations, and there were often times where the direction that I wanted to go to added additional work, late night work, and some additional research. But I also want to take this opportunity to thank all of the council members. As mentioned, and I think the speaker, Mr. Garcia, Dr. Garcia, has shared the best, that's what good government involves: conversations, questions, pushback, and consideration. We cannot make arbitrary decisions. We have an awesome responsibility on our shoulders to ensure that our direction and the work that we do takes into consideration all of the residents of this city. The speaker previous, who works as the rent control officer for a different municipality, we had a conversation as I walked in, and it was a pleasure to meet you today. She said, in an ideal world, there would be no need for these ordinances. Landlords would do what they're supposed to, and tenants would be able to live comfortably in apartments or residential areas that are well maintained and feel happy about the rent they pay. We know we don't live in an ideal world, and that is not the case. To the best of our abilities, we consider the concerns and the needs of our community, and we try to enact policy or ordinances that addresses and makes it better. I think within this ordinance, there's so much But what I most appreciate is that we in no way take such an arrogant position to believe that we can impose our wisdom upon future generations in perpetuity, but rather consider that in the time that we are in right now, there is a genuine need. Coming off the pandemic, looking at some of the approaches of some landlords, and that is not to say that we don't have good and responsible landlords. To all of those, considering the comments that I shared with the speaker prior, thank you for being considerate and responsible and doing the work and putting in the renovations and not having unconscionable or extraordinary increases. To those who are already protected by the 1999 or 3% prior to that, you remain the same. To all those around the city, the broad impact means this: we went from nothing to protection. That is a result of the responsible and wise approach of this council, the hard work of the professionals that I mentioned, and this administration. We may not always get it right perfectly. We make a commitment to do our best to provide you with the very service that you have entrusted us to provide you with. I'm so very proud of this council, the attorneys, the professionals of our administrator, and all those who have worked hard to get us to this point. If you look at the approach over the years, 20% set aside for affordable housing in any new development, no matter where we're going. The passing of ADUs, accessory dwelling units, the incentivizing development, redevelopment, otherwise, to ensure that we can increase affordable housing. The 100% affordable housing projects, that on Lexington, the veterans one, this council has gone a long way. If you looked at it as a whole, all the efforts that this council has supported over the years and the efforts of this administration, no, there wasn't one magic bullet. I know some municipalities perhaps, and I don't judge them, will take a radical approach on one initiative, but like Councilman Monk says, may end up losing in another area, whether development or investment. Having this, what some may perceive as gradual or slow approach, but one that is considerate, intentional, makes a real difference. And I genuinely believe will have a long-lasting effect and will have a great impact on this community. And those who often don't have a voice, as the first speaker stated, perhaps for intimidation, insecurity in terms of communication, inability to speak the language, lack of resources without having representation, will now find that those that they have entrusted with the positions to represent them have created mechanisms, a process, and a system that affords them that opportunity to have a platform to be heard, to be defended, and an ordinance that will protect them. So thank you very much. I think what we have done today is good government, but it is a noble thing to consider others, especially those in need, and act on those needs. So again, thank you to all of the council members.
Mr. Mayor, thank you.
We need to vote.
We need to vote
Adopt.
to adopt the ordinance.
Yes, sir.
Are there any other comments? I have a light
Yes,
on.
if I may, if, would like to thank the mayor and his administration for doing the legwork. I mean, it's a lot of information that we got to indulge on for the past month or two. But it was very necessary because a lot of times we get to hear the complaints from our constituents when they're suffering, as our resident stated, because they're intimidated, don't understand the language, or don't have the means. And this gives them an opportunity to understand that they are protected. But at the same token, it also protects the landlords because it can be from both sides. This also gives them, forces landlords to provide a clear contract. That way, the contract is what will speak, and both parties are protected. So this is a great thing because it protects everybody. And thank you, because again, it was a lot of information, but we got to learn. And thank you to the lawyers and everyone that was involved, and to my colleagues, because they shared a lot of knowledge that we all are now taking. And hopefully this will continue to move forward, and it'll be beneficial to the residents and the landlords as well. So thank you again, Mayor, and your administration.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman?
Yes, I'll do my best not to be redundant, but I'm going to be redundant because it's the absolute truth. Mayor, you sit in a tough seat. You get the concerns, I'm not going to call them complaints, concerns from both angles, all angles, if there are some. And somehow you manage to put together some legislation that we can build on. And I want to, as my my lovely council colleague, thank the attorneys. I want to thank you guys because your input and assisting with the legwork and other municipalities help bring a decision to this ordinance. Councilman Swartz, Councilman Monk particularly, and the rest of the council. It's just a great feeling. 90% of what we do is procedural, and we get it done without any flair or any turbulence. But yet the 5 to 10% of the things that we do have a potential of turbulence. It's done professionally, knowledgeably, and it's done with great precision with the citizens at hand. I don't like to reference any particular municipalities, but Deputy Deputy Mayor Edwin Garcia pointed out it's good to be able to look on YouTube and our citizens look and see that we are taking care of business here. We're not showboating. No one's having platforms to run for the mayor's seat. Have some municipalities have 9 council people and they're all gunning for the mayor's seat. That's not here. And I just want to say it's a pleasure to be on this council and have such great work done.
Any other comments? If I may just conclude, unlike private enterprise, government has a responsibility not only to produce results, but needs to respect an open and fair process. And I believe this bill does exactly that. If my colleagues will please keep in mind, number one, at our next meeting, we will be given a proposed ordinance from the administration, including some of the amendatory language which has been spoken about before, and that will be presented for first reading at our next meeting and second reading thereafter. Number one. Number two, please note number 40 in your agenda tonight, resolution appointing members to the rent level board, which this council has approved for consideration. Additionally, the council has approved for consideration the inclusion of a resume from Ms. Itamar Roman as well. We have a motion on the floor. Is there a motion, please, to close public hearing?
Move
To adopt, sir.
to adopt the
This is to
ordinance.
adopt.
To
Yes.
adopt.
Okay, who is
Move
the
it.
person?
Second.
Motion and second. This is
Councilman Monk,
history, ladies and gentlemen.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz.
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilman Colom Montañez.
Yes.
And Council President Scher.
Yes, the ordinance is passed.
Yes. Good job.
Congratulations.
Good job.
At this point, with the council's permission, I would like to turn to resolution 40, as well as the inclusion of the resume submitted by Ms. Roman on her own behalf, I believe.
Yeah.
According to my information, we have Marianne Capersi. Who's Ms. Capersi nominated by, please? Was it
Who's Percy?
Marianne Capersi.
Oh, by
Garcia.
Garcia.
Garcia?
Marianne Percy.
On Soto?
Myself.
Love is on Soto. Luis Colon. Montañez. And Palosios. Do we have any direction that we would like to take? In fact, why don't we take them in terms of order? If the council would prefer, we can do some of these at other times. They need not be done tonight. That is at the council's pleasure. I'm going to assume that we should proceed tonight with acceptance or not of some of the resumes which have been shared with us. Is that to the council's liking?
Yes.
Very good.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am?
Are we gonna just, are we gonna vote on the alternates also, or just?
We have 4 resumes in front of us.
Yeah.
I would suggest that we go through each one of them and place them accordingly.
Five.
Five?
5, excuse me, 5, you're right.
Five.
Okay.
Okay, on Marianne Capersi, proposed by Garcia.
But don't we have to be, do we have to be specific who's a tenant, who's a landlord, and who's expert?
This is as a Capersi, as a landlord, tenant, or expert?
I believe tenants.
No.
No, I believe it would be an
Expert.
Expert.
Yeah, okay.
Expert.
Expert,
Yes.
Capersi as expert. Is there a motion to accept Capersi as expert?
Move.
Second.
Movement second. Take a roll call on Capersi, please.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz.
Yes.
Councilman Garcia.
Yes,
Councilman Colom Montañez.
Yes.
And Council President Shear.
Yes, thank you. Capersi is approved as expert. Soto,
Landlord.
proposed as landlord, and who is the proposer?
I am.
Landlord by Love. Any questions about Soto? Motion to accept Soto?
Second.
Moved in second. Roll call on Soto.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz.
Yes.
Councilman Garcia.
yes.
Councilman Colom Montañez.
Yes.
And Council President Shear.
Okay, we have 2 done. Next, please, Jorge Palacios,
Tenant.
tenant, proposed by Mello. Any questions on Palacios? Roll call on Palacios, please.
Motion in a second.
Motion by,
Move it.
Second.
Councilman Monk, Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz.
Yes.
Councilman Garcia.
Yes.
Councilwoman Colom Montañez.
Yes.
And Council President Shear.
yes, thank you. Those are the 3 that we have. Others that we have that may be included or not at the council's discretion would come as alternates.
Yes.
On Luis Colon. I'm sorry, that was,
Homeowner.
Homeowner,
I'm going to propose by,
Cologne.
Colom Montañez.
I'm sorry.
How many alternates? How many alternates?
So it's 3.
3.
3 alternates.
Yep.
3 for each?
In total.
Oh, 1 for each.
there are
Oh, 1 for
6,
each.
there are 6, there are
6.
6, 3 and 3. The Cologne is as a,
Homeowner.
Is that the landlord?
So that's homeowner.
Yeah, landlord.
Or expert, so you can have a homeowner or you can have an expert.
Oh,
so under that category.
okay.
Expert.
Expert, okay.
Expert.
A homeowner, okay.
Councilman Colon Montañez, this is your nomination? Do
Yes,
you wish to make the nomination?
yes.
Made by Colon, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Roll call, please, on Colon.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz.
Yes.
Councilman Garcia.
Yes.
Councilman Colom Montañez.
Yes.
And Council President Shear.
Yes, thank you. And the last resume that we have brought before us this evening from Itamar Roman. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. What do we have open at this point?
Tenant.
Tenant.
We have open tenant, landlord, we have both a,
And landlord. Right.
2 openings out of the
She doesn't
6.
qualify for landlord, she's done.
Okay. Is there any interest from members of the council to propose Itamar Roman?
Absolutely.
Love?
Yes, I will propose.
And second?
Second.
Motion and second, this would be as
Alternate
Tenant.
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 Alternate.
Alternate tenant.
alternate tenant.
Yes.
Roll
Council-
call, please.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz.
Yes.
Councilman Garcia.
Yes.
Councilwoman Colom Montañez.
Yes.
And Council President Shear.
Yes, thank you. We have a board.
Yes.
We're good. We're usually not this good, though. With the council's permission, we are On Roman numeral 7, communications.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Are there any questions, please, on items 3 through 12? Seeing no lights at this time, is there a motion, please, to accept 3 through 12?
Move it.
Motion
Second.
and second. Roll call.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilman Colon Montañez,
Yes.
and Council President Shear.
Yes, thank you. All items listed routine in nature, items 13 through 20, through 21, excuse me. Are there any questions, please, on 13 through 21? Seeing no lights at this time, is there a motion, please, to accept 13 through 20?
Second.
Motion and second. Roll call.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia, Councilwoman Colon Montañez,
Yes.
and Council President Shear.
Yes, thank you. We're up to resolutions, Roman numeral 8 on our agenda. Resolution 22 authorizes a closed executive session. Do we need closed executive tonight, ma'am?
No, Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Fernandez. Mr. Mayor, sir? Thank you, some members of the council. Seeing none at this time, if we could please disregard 22 and go into 23-44. Excuse me, that is actually 23 through 39 and 41 through 44.
Separate on 34, Council President.
Separate on 34. Are there any other questions? Is there a motion to accept, please? Is there a motion, please, to accept items 23 through
39.
33?
Move.
Second.
Motion and second. Roll call.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilman Colon Montañez,
Yes.
and Council President Shear.
Yes, thank you. On number 34, please. Special vote. Is there a motion? please?
Move it.
Motion
Second.
and second. Roll call on
I
30.
can't, I can't second. Sorry.
I'll take, I need a second, please, on 34. Motion and second. Roll call, please, on 34.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Abstention.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilwoman Colon Montañez,
Abstain.
and Council President Shear.
Yes, thank you. On 35 through 44, are there any questions, please?
Move.
Seeing no lights at this time, there is a motion, there is a second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilwoman Colon Montañez,
Yes.
and Council President Shear.
Yes, thank you. On 45, please. 45 is in proposed ordinance amending the designation of restricted parking for disabled persons by New Jersey license plate number. Is there a motion, please, to accept for second and final reading at
Move it.
our next meeting of January 21?
Move it.
Motion and second. Roll call, please.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilman Colon Montañez,
Yes.
and Council President Shear.
Yes, thank you. On Roman numeral 10, payment of bills. Are there any questions on the bills, please? Seeing no lights, is there a motion, please, to accept the bills as presented by the clerk?
So move.
Motion
Second.
and second. Roll call, please, on the bills.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Schwartz,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilwoman Colon Montañez,
Yes.
and Council President Shear.
Yes, thank you. On administrator's report, Mr. Fernandez.
None at this time.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Just want to point out two items on the agenda. Item 32 and item 35 will receive an additional grant funding from the Department of Community Affairs for the 2023 lead remediation and abatement program. We received an additional $1.5 million. We continue to remove and abate lead issues throughout the city. Also on item 35, we received $985,000 for the Third Ward Veterans Memorial Park improvements. We continue to hear from our residents as we enhance our parks. We also received the funding to connect Dundee Island Park and Pulaski Park. The funding has been released. So that is a significant funding in our downtown area and our uptown area in Third Ward Memorial Park and our Pulaski Park. We're extremely excited about this funding. This project, millions of dollars are going to be invested to unite both of these open space green acre properties and make one of the nicest open space green space jewels of the park systems throughout our state. I'm also extremely excited to share that the track that I had shared with the city that we would make in Third Ward Memorial Park around the baseball field. The rubberized track is moving forward. We're going to be able to put a rubberized walking and running track around the baseball field on Third Ward Memorial Park, right by Passaic Street off of the Van Houten train station. So this is going to add another opportunity for our residents to walk, to exercise. We continue to get more and more improvements. So again, I'm extremely excited about all of the additional funding that we have been receiving, as well as the project for the new bus terminal on Passaic Avenue continues to move forward. We're looking for a state-of-the-art, brand new bus terminal. And once that's in place, considering the specific parking deck and the monies that has been approved for the rehab of Aspen Place. We are looking at the Aspen Place Spear Village. It has been approved. And so they're moving forward with that project. We are looking at significant, impactful renovations, additions, park enhancements, transportation, connectivity, and more and more businesses coming to the city of Passaic. At the next meeting, I'm excited to share a couple big names that have decided to open up shop in Passaic. We're still finalizing, but we see good things coming for 2025. Thank you very much.
It doesn't get much better than this in government. Members of the council?
So the bus, I just want to say, this bus that goes around, I think the rate that the mayor's taking the city, we're gonna have to get one of those sightseeing buses they have in New York City, it's open on top. Open on top.
You find a source of funding, Councilman, we'll fund it.
We could even have a stop, see the Assemblyman's home.
It's right on my roof.
In all my years in government, and there have been a few, I will tell you, I have never seen such accomplishment. It is an extraordinary pleasure to be a part of this council and the administration on behalf of the city. We are all blessed. We are blessed to be able to recognize what is right, what is wrong, what is political, and we are a political body, but how it is best to facilitate the growth and support of this entire community. And what an amazing job we are doing, if you will allow me to be self-congratulatory. Mr. Mayor, you are the best.
Yes.
And to my colleagues, if you'll allow me to step back from the rest of you and say to the rest of you that you are also the best. This has been a momentous night in all of our lives. Is there a motion to adjourn, please? Motion and second. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Councilman Monk,
Yes.
Councilman Love,
Yes.
Councilman Mello,
Yes.
Councilman Short,
Yes.
Councilman Garcia,
Yes.
Councilwoman Colón Montañez,
Yes.
and Council President Sher.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.